Building a marriage takes the right material, but these are not materials that can be purchased in a store. These materials have to be matured and cultivated on the inside. The Marriage Material Podcast Show was created to help listeners grow and mature in areas that are important to building and maintaining a healthy marriage and relationships. You are listening to the Marriage Material Podcast Show, and here's your host, Pastor Darius Good.
Thank you for joining us on today. You're listening to the Marriage Material Podcast Show. My name is Darius Good. I'm the senior pastor of Bible Gospel Center, which is located in Connecticut. To learn more about this podcast show, go to our website, IamMarriageMaterial.com. There you'll find information regarding the podcast show, all the different platforms that we are currently on. We currently have listeners in 21 countries. We also have information on the website regarding the book, The Marriage Pillars, which we are going to discuss on today. And we also have information regarding our Instagram page as well as our YouTube channel. And if you look at the notes in today's podcast show, you'll find a lot of that information that I just mentioned right there in the notes. You can click on the links. It will take you to what you are looking for. So visit our website today when you get a chance. IamMarriageMaterial.com. To learn more about myself, visit my website at DariusGood.com. I have books, several books, about 13 books that are available. Some are children's books, others are spiritual books. And I also have music that I've written and produced. All that information is right there on the website. We also have 2 other podcast shows, so you can check those out. One deals with relationships. The Divorced Christian platform was created for Christians who are divorced. And we provide very insightful information and teachings on the subject of divorce. A lot of what we've heard and have been taught in the Christian community is very inaccurate. It violates historical and cultural facts. And so on that platform, we go through the history, we go through a lot of Jewish culture, and it's going to paint a very different picture of the conversations Jesus was having and a lot of his teachings. And so I encourage you to check that show out if it's applicable to you. The Marriage Material Podcast Show was created because of the Divorced Christian platform. We realized that a lot of our listeners are not divorced, and they just have relationships that are either really tough, maybe abusive. They might be just trying to figure some pieces out that they've struggled with for years. And so we've created this platform for marriages that are on the fence. It's also applicable to those that are engaged and those that are dating. And even if you're not dating and have been in a serious relationship, I think this platform would be very helpful for you to identify areas of your life that might need adjusting and changing. And so, thank you for joining us on today. You're listening to episode 12, with entitled today's episode, Why 30 Pillars. So in the book that I wrote, it's entitled The Marriage Pillars. There are a total of 30 pillars that I identify in a relationship. So we're going to run through that list in a few minutes. I first want to tell you what inspired this list. So if you listen to the episodes, every now and then I'll make the statement, or I'll mention how people do not date right. And so what I began noticing as I'm doing marriage counseling sessions or meeting with couples, I'm realizing that there's areas within the relationship that are now conflicting. And as we discuss these areas, I'm realizing, well, how come you didn't know that before you got married? Or why didn't you know that was important to this person? Why is all these things coming out now that you are married? What were you guys doing when you were dating? And what you begin to realize is, one, many people jump into a physical relationship, so they're looking for physical compatibility, right? So we're looking to see if we're compatible in our likes, in our interests. And then another area we put a lot of weight on is the physical. So once the relationship turns physical, then I've learned that there's a lot less conversation and dialogue. And so you're filling up the time you're spending together, engaged in sexual activity, engaged in physical activity, as opposed to actually getting to know the person. And so this is where the error lies, because this is American culture. This is what's been taught to us through television, through film, of how to build a relationship, and it doesn't work. So physical attraction, sexual attraction is like very low on the list of keeping a relationship together, because once the couple's mad with each other, that's the first thing to go. The intimacy, the physical touch, first thing to go, first thing we sit on the side when there is a conflict. And so as I've been talking to couples, I'm like, you have to build the relationship. And so I talk about these different pillars. I've mentioned them in other episodes, but I've never actually written them out or created the list. And so as I was doing episode 11, which is really the introduction to the book, I took episode 11 and wrote chapter 1, the introduction of the book, from that episode. And then I mentioned a couple of the pillars. Once I was done recording that episode, I decided to sit down and write out all the pillars. And that's when I came up with 29. And then took several days, and then number 30 came to me. So we ended up with 30. It's funny, as I've told several people, as I was in the process of putting this book together, and like my thoughts and getting all this aligned, I was sharing with different people, and they're like, where'd you get the number 30 from? They think 30 is a lot of pillars. But I'm a very detailed person. So being a music producer, I'm used to trying to figure out or boil things down to its simplest form. As a musician, if you understand, just playing an instrument, I play the piano. You have a basic chord, which is 3 notes, a triad. C, E, G is a C chord. But you can add additional notes to it to change the chord. But the basis of the chord is still a triad. And so I try to take, well, what's making this marriage work, and boil everything down to its simplest form. And in doing so, what I began to realize is the arguments and issues couples were having, we can point to one particular issue. This is the same problem. It doesn't matter how many days or instances, circumstances that you guys can sit down and explain to me, well, she did this and I did this. 2 months later, then she did this and I did this. Well, you guys are having the same problem. So as we began to identify singular problems or areas, then we began to realize, hey, it's the same issue that is a stumbling block. It's the same problem that keeps reoccurring. If we can fix this, then you can be good. So I sat down, came up with this list, and as I've sat with people and talked with them about it, they're like, 30 is a lot. Well, what's interesting is there's a book, very popular book, that's called the 48 Laws of Power. So people are fine with 48 laws. So 30 is not 48. We're 18 short of that. That's not a book that I would recommend. Being a pastor, being a Christian, we use kingdom principles. And so the 48 Laws of Power conflict with kingdom principles on several areas. I won't take the time today to go through that. But I stick to a kingdom model because I found that's what's working for me. It works. It's a perfect system. And so I can't take pieces of the Bible, pieces of the biblical system, and then apply other systems and try to blend the two. There's going to be conflict at some point. But my point is, if we're fine with 48 laws of power, then we should be fine with 30 pillars in a relationship. Now, what you're going to realize is these pillars are extremely practical. There's a couple I met with recently. They wanted to know what the 30 pillars were. I read them to them, and they're like, we do all of these. We do it naturally. And I found that me and my wife does as well. Good relationships, things just hit it off. Yeah, the pillars are falling into place. But you might have areas where there seems to be this conflict, this rub that keeps coming back up. And so now we're creating a system so that those areas can be identified, and then we can target them. And then the book kind of outlines another way of approaching these particular areas. So let me give you the list. I'm going to give you all 30 pillars. And as you'll see, they're very practical, but they're very important within the relationship. Keep in mind that if you don't have these pillars in place, these really become areas of conflict, areas where he's upset with her, she's upset with him. But if we boil down the issue, it would be one of these or several of these particular pillars. So when the pillars are in place, the relationship is strong and it's healthy. So I'm just run through the list. Number 1, we have protection. So this deals with guarding the relationship. Number 2, integrity. Number 3, emotional regulation. Number 4, accountability. Number 5, resilience. Number 6, respect. Number 7, honor. Number 8, honest communication. Number 9, understanding. Number 10, acceptance. Number 11, emotional safety. Number 12, vulnerability. Number 13, trust. Number 14, transparency. 15 is healthy boundaries. 16 is fidelity. 17 is consistency. 18 is constancy. 19 is intimacy. 20 is support. 21 is forgiveness with change. 22 is sacrifice. 23 is problem resolution. 24 is adaptability. 25 is deal breakers. 26 is compatibility, and this deals with compatibility post-marriage. 27 is shared values. 28 is shared vision. 29 is financial alignment. And 30 is purpose. What we did is we created a test to make it easy to identify which areas are areas of strengths or areas of weaknesses within the relationship. So if you go to the website, IamMarriageMaterial.com, just click on the link where it says take the test. It's a 30-question test. Each question is connected to one of the pillars. And after you take the test, we'll email you the results, and you'll see your areas of strength and your areas of weaknesses. Now, the test is also in the book, if you purchase the book, The Marriage Pillars. But I highly recommend that you do the test this way because it will give you a breakdown. You won't have to take the test and then try to figure out the areas collectively. But the test itself is designed to give you the immediate results, highlighting areas of strengths and areas of weaknesses. Now, most people tend to focus on areas of weaknesses. They want to tackle these areas. But what I found is it's important to know your areas of strength. But within the relationship, I found that if you know your areas of strength, what it does is it will build confidence within your relationship. So I've had several people take the test, and the response has been, oh, I didn't realize we were strong in certain areas. Or I'm actually surprised at some of the areas that we actually are strong in. And so what it does is it builds hope, it builds energy, and it kind of addresses the overwhelming feeling like you have this list of things to fix. It kind of gives you a starting place of areas that you are doing well, areas of victory. And so another reason of knowing your areas of strength is because it acts like a leverage point. So let's say communication is very strong, but financial alignment is weaker. Then use your honest communication habits to have productive money conversations. And so you start to see how each pillar now kind of supports the pillar, not really beside it, but it supports other pillars within the marriage or the relationship. Knowing your areas of strengths also allows you to combat negative biases in the relationship. It cultivates appreciation. So if you think of it like this, you think there's always this rough patch, this area that we keep butting heads. Now it allows you to focus on the positives and strengths within the relationship. The book also kind of produces a customized maintenance plan. So a strong pillar doesn't maintain itself. And so in the book, I use the metaphor of the palm tree, how they are resilient. They're built that way where they could bend as a result of the winds. And so with that being said, I think that knowing your strengths will help create resiliency. Even if you find that to be a weaker area, you might actually find that we now have resilience because we're finding these areas of strength within our relationship. And so that allows us now to improve these other areas. So discussing strengths together is often more enjoyable than only reviewing areas where growth is necessary. So it creates a safe, affirming conversation that makes couples more receptive to working on the weaker pillars. The test is designed not to produce shame. It's not shame-based improvement. The test is a grace-filled growth. So you see these areas where we can grow deeper. And hopefully, as it produces conversation, it opens your eyes to your spouse's thinking or your significant other's thinking, and then they can hear you articulate your thinking. And then also understand this, that there's going to be growth between the two of you, period. So the woman that I married 10 years ago in 2015, she is not the same woman that I'm married to today. And so her mindset, her thinking, her approach to life has drastically changed. I see the growth in her. She's talked about the growth in me. And so once again, you sit down. So even though you have these pillars in place, sometimes these conversations we have again, and we haven't used a book. Ours just kind of came naturally. But now we have this book where we can actually put terms in place and articulate our thinking and our feelings to each other. And what's very important about this book is it's not about coming into agreement. I think it's very important I say this. A healthy marriage does not mean that my wife and I agree. But what it means is that we understand. So there might be areas where we do not come into agreement. She sees it one way, I see it another. She would approach it differently than I will. One of the pillars is acceptance. And so I've learned to accept my wife for how she's wired, how she thinks, how she feels, which is created through her lived experience, her childhood, her adulthood experiences, her work experience, different environments, friendships. These things have culminated into the person that she has become. And so with me accepting her, she may not approach things the way that I would, but there's a level of acceptance that we have in areas where we do disagree. And so this is very important in maintaining a healthy marriage. So it's important we understand that. It's not about the husband and wife or the couple coming into agreement. It's really about obtaining understanding. Now, the book does not give you answers on what to do. What it's designed to do is expand your thinking regarding these pillars. So you might have just the basic definition if you look one of these pillars up, like protection. But there's layers to protection. Who should the marriage be protected from? Are you yourself sabotaging the relationship? Or are there friends and family that now becomes issues that affects the relationship? Maybe it's the job. So these are the layers that we're going to go through with each pillar. So it's not enough to say, hey, I know what the pillars are. I know the definition, and I think I understand how to apply this to my marriage. I highly recommend that you read the book. Now, if you go to the website, marriagematerial.com, and also the link will be in the podcast show notes of today. But if you go to the website, take the test, but you can also start reading the book. I put a PDF of the book. It's the first 6 chapters. Now you have an idea of not just the pillars, but you can also read through several of the pillars as it begins to unfold and just expand your thinking in regards to relationship. The book is available on Amazon.com as well as BarnesandNobles.com. It's available as an ebook and also as an audiobook. If you go to the website, because you can purchase it directly from my website, DariusGood.com or IamMarriageMaterial.com. We also have a couples bundle, and this will allow you to get 2 books much cheaper than if you purchase off of Amazon or if you purchase off of BarnesandNobles.com. So if you purchase it directly from me, then there's a discount there that is available for you. Visit the website today. All the information is in the notes. So go to the notes of today's podcast show. This podcast show is now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and it's also on YouTube. So YouTube has a podcast area where you can listen to the show on the YouTube platform. So if you go once again to the website, IamMarriageMaterial.com, you'll find all those links there. Just click on the one that you prefer and subscribe. Subscribe to this podcast show. We're going to go through each pillar. And I guarantee you the information I provide on the podcast show will be extended beyond what you read in the book. So I highly recommend you subscribe. Get this show, send this show to, or share it, I should say, with those that you think it will be important for building a healthy, strong, fulfilling marriage. Both people should be fulfilled in a relationship. That's a happy, healthy marriage. And that's what we're striving for on this platform. Thank you for joining us on today. Until next time, be blessed.
You have been listening to the Marriage Material Podcast Show with your host, Darius Good. This was a Good Treasure Ministries production. Darius is a senior pastor of Bible Gospel Center and the author of the book, Soul Ties. To learn more about this book and other books written by Darius, or to listen to other episodes, visit our website today at DariusGood.com. Please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast show. And until the next time, be blessed.